Please remember that the Lucie Pod is not a replacement for professional medical advice. If you have questions or concerns about your own amazing brain, please speak to a medical professional. I'd also like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I speak to you all today, the peoples of the Kulin Nation. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Lucie Pod. I hope that you are all well and are staying safe. Today I have a guest joining me to talk about all things ADHD. Please welcome Toya Haynes to the pod. Hi Toya, how are you?
Hi Lucie, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So tell us about yourself, plug your Instagram, tell us about what you do, who you are, and your interests.
Sure. My name is Toya Haynes, as you mentioned. On Instagram and on Threads, I'm at What's Good Toya. That's pretty much, I like to talk about what's good to me and what brings joy in my world, and that's usually music. I'm a big vinyl collector. I'm a big music nerd.
Love.
Huge nerd. When it comes to that, I am also the editor for Philly Soul Now, phillysoulnow.com, which covers the soul music scene in Philadelphia. I live in New Jersey, so I'm about 40 minutes outside of Philly, less than an hour outside of Atlantic City, and 2 hours from New York, just to give you an idea of where I am in America. So that's where I'm over here. I just recently turned 50 in December.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you. December 26th, so I'm celebrating that all year long.
What sort of music do you like? What sort of vinyls do you collect?
Okay, so I inherited my dad passed away 6 years ago, and I inherited his mostly, actually really all soul and jazz collection.
Love.
So I have, along with my collection, my mom, who is a big gospel music fan. All of our records combined are about 400 records. And about
that's
100, it's a lot. And then about 100 of them are singles. Thank you. About 100 of them are 12-inch singles. So because I used to DJ for a short amount of time. A lot of times people with ADHD, we try things because we're like, I want to try this. And then it's not that we quit, we're just done. And I was just done. So
I like that. I didn't quit. I was just done. I like that.
I was just done. Yeah. I wanted to do it. I had a friend that, and a lot of people know this about me. I had a friend, she was a rapper. And she's, I lived in Nashville for a short amount of time, for about 15 years. And I would help her like with merch and like bookings and everything. And I just remember being like, but I need to see the audience. I've always been involved in music from a business standpoint, but never as an artist. And so I always wanted to do like artist development and management and publicity, but never wanted to be on stage. When my friend started rapping and doing shows, well, she was already rapping, but when she started doing shows out, I remember thinking, I just need to see the audience. I need to see how like they're enjoying it. I probably should DJ. So I got myself 2 turntables. And I started DJing, and I started doing some stuff and DJing at parties. And I got a CDJ, but I really wanted to be authentic because hip hop was important to me. And so I would never let anybody carry my turntables because I didn't want them to think because I'm a girl, I couldn't carry my own turntables. So I'd be in there flexing with these turntables, struggling and
struggling but flexing.
Struggling but flexing. They would never see me sweat. And I started DJing. And so I have a lot of 12-inch singles from those days still. I might pick it back up.
I love that. I love it. Because when you said I used to DJ for a while, I'm like, that's so ADHD coded. Like just, not that it's a random hobby, but it's like random. Like it's like some ADHDs. I mean, like I used to be a shaman and I'm like, cool. And now they're a teacher. It's like random. Well, I love that. I love that for them.
It's true because I've had like good friends that when I posted on Instagram, we were actually on a show. And I found a clip online because we like started performing and doing stuff right before social media really, really took off.
Yeah.
So there's really like one clip of me doing anything. So if you didn't know me, you didn't know I did it. And I just happened to stumble across it and put it on Instagram. And like my good friends were like, what? And I said, oh yeah, there's this one time.
There was this one time where I like had a crazy life.
Yeah, and we went on tour for a couple months. I totally forgot to tell y'all. Like, yeah.
It's like, is that where you were that time? I love that. I love that. Or when I tell people I used to work in a chocolate shop and now I work in politics, and they laugh. They're like, wait, sorry, a chocolate shop. Like, how did you? And I was going to become a chocolatier. It's like, how did you?
Right.
Chocolatier politics. Like, that's just weird. That's bizarre. But very ADHD. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much for that, like, beautiful introduction. So before we get into the meat of the podcast, I ask my guests 3 questions to sort of get us into it. So the first one is, when were you diagnosed with ADHD?
I was diagnosed when I was 41 years old, on leap day, I guess it would be. So,
I saw in that article that you sent me. Yep. On leap
very,
day. Wow.
Very, what you call it? It makes sense for it to be that day. But apropos, I guess it would be, for it to be that day. So, yeah.
All right. And then the second question is, what are your current hyperfixations / special interests?
I love that question. I haven't told anybody this, but I'm going to tell it today. I actually, in the works, I have something called So I'm Into This Now, because I feel like every time I pick up something I'm interested in, I'm like, so I'm into this now.
Yep.
What am I? And so right now, right before I came upstairs, I made a matcha latte, because I'm into matcha lattes right now. And so I want to know about tea and matcha and oat milk, and like, what are the different things that people like? I want to know all about it. So I'm into that. That's one. You said pick 3 things or just one thing?
Or just any like, if you have 10 hyperfixations, I want to know about them. But what are your current ones?
Okay, hyperfixations. What am I into right now? I am really into Elizabeth Elliot is an author, and I've been reading a lot about her life. She and her husband were missionaries, and he was killed by the tribe that they were serving. And she went on to speak about forgiveness in a wild way. And so I've been listening to a lot of her teachings. Wow. And so she had a pretty controversial life towards the end of her life. And it's just very interesting how she continued on in that way. So I've been heavy into her, and C.S. Lewis. I've been heavy into listening to both of them. Third, I'm gonna do a third one. What am I really into? Tequila. This is why.
And this is actually an intervention. We're going to talk about alcoholism.
Tequila, but this is, okay, but this
that used to be my favorite liquor. I don't drink anymore, not because I had a problem. I just got put off of it because of my meds. But tequila was my favorite. Yeah, I loved tequila. Yeah,
I went to Cancun for my 50th birthday. My birthday was the day after Christmas. Beautiful. And best friend and my mom and I went, and we went to a tequila tasting. And I still think about this tequila, and I'm mad I didn't buy it. It was an agave tequila. It was so delicious. And the reason why I'm so into it now is because I didn't know that they could be so good. They had like a chocolate one. We took a vanilla one home. There was a passion fruit one. All these amazing flavors. And so when we got to the airport, there was a Patron store, and they had like, little shots of tequila like this to taste, like shots, all in the shot. And I remember tasting it and going, this is garbage. Like, no wonder I didn't know about tequila, because this is the extent of what I knew about Patron. And I'm like, this is disgusting. It's so watered down. Like, because I'm an expert now, because I went to one tasting, right? So, and so now I'm like, where is the best tequila in America? So now I've been looking up, like, where can we go to tequila tastings like around here, so I can find good tequila, because I know it can't be as good as what we had in Mexico, but it can't be as trash as Patron. Like, it can't be. That can't be the standard. So
Patron makes me so violently ill. I can't actually think or talk about Patron. When I used to work in hospitality, I went out one night, mistake to go out with people who work in hospo, and they made me try Patron, and they were like, it's going to change your life. Like, you are going to want to drink this all the time. And I've actually never been so sick in my life. Wow. It's the most disgusting alcohol I've ever had, and I regret trying it. Like, my life is worse of having tried it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's trash.
Yeah,
So it must be bad here as well.
It's not good. And I think the thing is, because my mom, not a drinker at all. My mom drank more on this vacation. She didn't drink a lot, but she drank more on this vacation. She's 74 that I think she has in the totality of her life. So she doesn't drink a lot at all. My best friend drinks wine. She's accustomed to drinking. We drank like, let's say 9 samples. You had a couple, you're like, let me try that one more time. And none of us were tipsy. So I think none of us were tipsy. So you have someone that drinks often, which would be my best friend, me in the middle, who drinks like a glass of wine almost every night. And then my mom, who doesn't drink at all. So the fact that we all had the same amount of alcohol and weren't affected, I think speaks to the fact that if you could have something like Patron that's not as, maybe I guess not as pure as a tequila as would be where we went, there's something off about like either the alcohol content or whatever, just the, I don't know, just how good it is.
Because it's meant to get you wasted. Like, I hate to say it, it's meant to get you wasted. Like most spirits and liquors like that, like it's a dangerous one because it's so good and it gets you binned so quickly. So that there's something wrong.
Yeah, we were good. There. For us to be able to drink that even though they were like little samples, but still 9, we were straight. And my mom doesn't drink at all. So yeah, that says a lot to me.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Good. We felt good, but like the baseline of it, like nothing. Yeah,
no buzz. You didn't hit the buzz. Like yeah, there's something. There's something they need to sort out with alcohol. But I love that. So now the third and final question is: what is an ADHD trait that you feel is unique to you? And obviously everyone is unique, but I've had a lot of answers where it's like, I am super organized, and it's like a lot of ADHD people are organized. That's not necessarily a unique thing, but what do you feel like there's something that's uncommon that maybe isn't an ADHD thing, but you think it might be, and it's something that you do and you experience?
Yeah. I've worked in concert production and stage management. And organizing a concert, an hour and a half long concert with like an artist lineup of, let's say, even 10 to 12 people is easier to me than keeping my room clean. I can do that with my eyes. So meaning like planning a show from top to bottom and being able to see how it's supposed to go. Keeping everyone on task as far as like what the next song is, what the band should be doing, what's coming up next. Through like all these things is so much easier to me than basic things of where did I put my laundry? So like, I guess what I'm trying to say is like and I feel like it's a trait that some people have where it's like they're able to take big picture stuff
for other people as well. Like it's
for other people.
It's for other people, not for yourself. Which it would be easier if we cared more about being organized for ourselves than somebody else. Which makes us great employees, but yes.
So like, and so I would have people that would hire me to be a stage manager because they know I'm going to keep it running. I'm thinking ahead. This song is next. This is next. This person needs to be here on deck. This needs to happen. Where's my host? Like, and I'm not frantic. I just, and part of that also is because, like I said, I'm a big music nerd. So I usually, whatever I do in music, I think about in terms of what I would like to see. So to me, it's like, as a fan, I would like to see a show like this. So I work backwards that way. Yeah. Would that be an 80, like a unique 80?
That's pretty unique. That's pretty unique. Yeah. Because I'm more of a mix of that. I'm I think part of my ADHD and hyperfixation is keeping my room clean, and it becomes a bit obsessive where it's a bit detrimental and I should like relax a bit. And then when it comes to when I'm at work, I'm a very much, not necessarily, I'm more of a small details, but because I work in politics and I do a lot of operational stuff, it's really helpful. Like I'm really focused and organized and I make systems work really well. Whereas with my room, my system is I clean out of like stress and annoyance and frustration. I don't actually have a system like, oh, you know, I should clean on this day because of that. It's like, I need to clean every day because otherwise, like, what's going to happen? Like, what happens if I don't clean? So, yeah, I'm like, it's the other end.
Do you find your room, when your room is not clean, you've attached that to other areas of life? Like, it's weird. I say this as an ADHD person with ADHD to another person.
Yeah.
You could be at work or doing something, and you're like, I can't because my room's not clean. Like, you just feel like.
Yep. Like, if I know that
somehow it's connected.
Yes. So I'll be like, I'll go to work and it's like, but I didn't vacuum. Like, that's a problem. Or I know that I didn't put, you know, the pillows up correctly when I left. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And people are like, that's OCD. It's not OCD because I don't think anything bad's going to happen. I don't repeatedly put the pillow, but it's a frustration because it's like, if my room is not clean, I am a mess. I'm disorganized. So I need to keep my space clean, which is true, I think, for some ADHDers where, like, if your space is messy, it makes things really hard. Like, having a messy desk, it makes it really hard, but, like, it's okay if my pillows aren't up properly.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I can get up and go to the
indication.
gym if my room is clean. If my room is clean, I can get up and go to the gym. Yeah. If it's not, that's my baseline. Like, that's my ground zero. Like, the bare minimum. And so it's difficult. It's like, what do you mean you can go to the gym because your room wasn't clean? Because you're thinking, well, if I
You're thinking about it.
And I'm not saying that I cleaned it and then I went to the gym, because that would make sense. Well, then clean it and then go. No, because now I have to deal with process. And process is, I have to clean it, but there's also these clothes, and I was supposed to send these to Goodwill, and then there's this over here, and then I got my makeup brushes. Like, it's so much. So what did I do? I went back to bed. No, I didn't get up and clean it.
Yep. Or what I'll do is I'll waste time because I also go to the gym, and that's a big motivator. I will clean my room, but I will waste time. And then it's like, do I really want to go to the gym now? No, I don't really want to go to the gym. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how the brain works. We get told we're really lazy, and it's like, I clean every day. I'm not lazy. I'm the least lazy person, but it's not always healthy to be, you know, cleaning every day. But that is a thing, and I feel it with the whole, like, you're very good at being organized for other people, but then internally for you, it's like, I can't be. I ask this a lot of ADHD guests that I have who've been diagnosed later on in life. And it's, when you were diagnosed, did you feel a sense of grief because of what could have been if you'd been diagnosed early? Or was it a sense of relief of, finally, I know what's wrong with me, air quotes? Or was it a mixture of both?
It was a slight mixture of both. It was more so relief. And I was fortunate enough to not have the grief and what could have been. Because I think very early on, I let myself off the hook for what I didn't know, what my parents didn't know, and what, you know, other people that cared about me knew. Again, like I said, I'm now 50. And so let's say when I was 15, that was in 89, 90. So that's the top of the 90s, right? So as far as the knowledge around then being ADD and being female and being Black and growing up in a household of faith, that wasn't a thing. That wasn't something I could be diagnosed with, you know? So I never had that thing like, well, what if I would have known? Because who would have known that? Who would have known that would have even been a possibility? So I didn't have that. When I got diagnosed on leap day, one thing that I did, and I always tell people to do, I said, if you feel like you may have ADHD, start writing things down. Write things down that you have difficulty with. Write down when you have spurts of energy and what motivates you. Write down how you feel after you eat certain things. One of the triggers for me was I had to have a Diet Coke every morning to get going. That let me know I have to have what's it called?
Stimulant? Not a stimulant.
Thank you, a stimulant. Yeah,
a stimulant.
Exactly.
Yeah, a stimulant. Yeah.
But some people can have ADHD medication that doesn't have a stimulant in it. I had to. So those are the things, because it didn't hype me up. It had me focused. It quieted my brain. And I didn't understand what that was. And so I was like, start writing everything down. So when you go in there, you can advocate yourself. Because what I found was when I did, the first doctor that I talked to who was awful, I had so much anxiety talking about things that I didn't understand. I couldn't articulate. And so when I wrote things down and was able to articulate it, then I had a better psychiatrist, and it worked out great. And when she told me, she goes, well, I know that you said you would be happy to find out. She said, I am happy to tell you that you have textbook ADHD. You would have thought I had like a 4-chair turnaround on the voice. Like my legs went up, both arms went up. I said, thank you, God. And she was so amazing because what she told me was, she said, if you do want to go the route of taking medication, she said, think of it this way. There are people that have low insulin. They have a problem making insulin. There are people, you have a problem producing serotonin, and certain things in your brain. So this is biochemical. Yes. So that also let me off the hook and let me know, oh my God, so none of this has been my fault. So I felt like the more information I got, the more it was like, not only is this not anybody else's fault, it's not my fault. And I felt like I could forgive myself for a lot of things up until that point. The only time that grief came up was when I felt sorry for my younger self and the poor self-esteem I had. Little Toya. That's who I was so bad for, because she felt like she was a screw up. She thought she wasn't smart. I never said I was smart until I was 41. And before then, I told you I had done all these other things that like friends would say, this is so awesome that you did that.
It is.
I was so afraid to be successful because I'm like, if I'm successful, people are going to find out the secret. And the secret is that I am inherently dumb. That was the secret.
Yes. I had this as well. I remember before I was diagnosed when I was 13, and I really thought, like, I knew what autism was. I knew like what it was to have like an intellectual disability. And I was like, I don't have any of those things. I have, like, I'm just dumb. Like, I am just dumb to the point. I remember writing in my diary being like, I'm actually just dumb. Like, what normal human being would not understand when a teacher tells them to sit down and be quiet? Like, if I can't do that, I'm actually just really stupid. And it was like, I just have like, my illness is dumb. I remember writing something like, my illness is just being stupid and dumb. And that is so sad. That's so sad. So I love being ADHD, but I feel sad for little Lucie. I feel sad for little ADHD girls who were told by never my parents or anything or friends, but like by teachers, by primary school teachers that like,
I had some embarrassing moments with teachers.
Oh, like bad student, naughty student, bad parents, lazy, and like will not do anything in life. Like the amount of teachers that told me primary school, like, you will amount to nothing. You are going to be a checkout chick, which I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being a checkout chick.
Nothing. We need checkout chick.
We need checkout chicks. So that's like classes as hell. And like, you will not do anything with your life. And that's like, I don't know why you're a teacher. Like, why are you a teacher if you can say that? Yeah, I feel that. Like,
I've never said this out loud to anybody, but I actually overheard 2 students talking about me, something that a teacher said to them. It was on field day. I haven't even told my parents this. Because my desk was a mess, and
same.
She embarrassed me in front of everybody, and they were like, "What was that girl's name? Latoya." I was like, that happened in like 4th grade. I have never told anybody that. So
that's
like,
so mean. That's actually so mean.
And that
Children
was just
are so mean at times. My God,
but the teacher was me. They didn't know. They didn't know it was me. So like, it was the fact that they were in front of me and they didn't know. They were like, what was that girl's name that the teacher, Miss So-and-so, was telling us about? So they didn't even know that it was me.
They're just kids. They're just kids repeating.
Yeah, they're just kids. But the teacher was not a kid. So why are you talking about the classmate? I had a moment.
Wild.
It's wild. I had a moment that a teacher called on me and I knew the right answer, but I was so scared that I was wrong because she called on me. And she goes, and I was like, I don't know. She goes, who here knows the answer? And everybody raised their hand. She goes, look around. You're the only one that does know the answer. And I never spoke up for myself and said that I knew. She hated my guts.
What?
She hated my guts.
My parents are both teachers and they are wonderful. And I had amazing high school teachers. But when I hear these stories and I think about the teachers I had in primary school, I'm like, who employs these people?
Right. Because I was afraid, what if I heard the answer wrong? Because it was math and it was very difficult. So I was like, well, or calculus or something like that. Something I'm not using. And I just remember just being like, but what if I'm wrong and I'm so terribly wrong? And she embarrassed me in front of, because everybody raised their hand. And I was like, it's not that I'm just afraid that and I found out that I knew the answer.
Of course you knew the answer, but she made it so that you were too afraid to even say it. I don't like, I think teachers are great. And obviously this is not a comment on all teachers there, but I really sometimes wonder first why they get into the job, because it seems like they dislike children, some of these teachers. And like, second of all, like, I don't know why you're putting children down. Like, I actually just don't understand that at all. I really don't get it. Yeah. That's so weird. Like, look at everyone, like humiliating students. That's so mean. Like, my dad and I, we were looking at his old report cards because my dad grew up in France and the French school system is like teachers do not have time for their students. It's very like, like they will put your test results up on the board and like read out what you got to the class and like embarrass you. It's really wild. And on the ranking of like, you know how you can get an A, B, C. Well, on his report card, there was the word nul, which in French it means sucks, like you suck. Then not very bad, which is like mediocre, and then there's like, excellent, and my dad had like, I don't think he got sucks, I think he got mediocre, which I'm like, imagine calling like a child mediocre or telling a child that they suck or that they're useless. And then one of the comments from the teacher was, my dad's name Xavier is a big baby and my dad's also ADHD. And it's like like his parents read that and it's like, I'm calling your son a big baby. Wild. Crazy.
Every report card I had said does not work up into full potential. Does not work up to full potential. Every last, and mind you, every report card after the first marking period is stellar. Then it went down like this. You're about to fail. Then it got awesome. Then it got better. But every last one. Yeah.
That is crazy. So with your diagnosis, how did your friends and family react to it? Were they like, yes, makes sense?
They were
they
were really happy for me.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
My close friends were very happy for me because I remember after I got diagnosed, I was in the car and I was like, great news, like just great news. I definitely have ADHD with a side of major depression and acute anxiety. Or anxiety disorder. I found that a lot of people that have ADHD have like three things. It's like comorbidities.
Yes.
And so I always say I have this with a side of, with a little razzle dazzle,
Little extra personality.
Just a little, and I think I will say this. At first, when I went to the doctor and not a psychiatrist, when I went to the doctor, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. But really, come to find out, I had depression and anxiety because I had undiagnosed ADHD and something was wrong with me and I didn't know what it was. Yes. And that's why I was depressed. And I was anxious because I was missing details here and there and it was freaking me out. Mm-hmm. So it was all a result of being undiagnosed.
Really. Yes. Which is so common with girls. Like I always, you always notice, like even my parents have with students, like they can very clearly see that there's a ADHD student undiagnosed, and they'll be diagnosed with anxiety and depression, which is accurate in a way, but then like they get treated for the anxiety and depression, but the ADHD is still there. Yeah. It's still an issue. And then it's not until later on that they're diagnosed with ADHD. It's always like depression, anxiety, or like, you know, a UTI. Like with girls, it's like, you just might have a UTI. It's like, no, I can't focus. Like it's actually got nothing to do with a UTI. Like I actually need you to do a test. And it's just like a really common thing. It's like anxiety, depression, and they never think that it could be ADHD.
They never do. And even the reason I even thought it might be ADHD was because I have a friend of mine whose husband was diagnosed. We just happened to be on the phone. And she was like, so he's been diagnosed with adult ADHD. And, you know, like I said, growing up the way I grew up, boys with ADHD, that just meant you needed a whooping. You needed some form of discipline, because we just really thought of it as just being rowdy, something that really wasn't to be taken seriously.
No. But the thing is, boys
will be boys. And the thing is, me and her husband are very similar in some ways. So when she said that to me, I said, wait a second. And I looked it up. And this is what really started my research. I looked it up and I read this woman's, it was like an essay she wrote about how it is for me to live with ADHD. And I cried because everything she wrote was exactly how I felt.
It was you.
Yeah. And I would have never known unless, and that's why I think podcasts like yours are really important, because you have people that mock and say, oh, everybody now has ADHD because they saw it on TikTok and whatever. No, you have people that are looking for answers as for what's wrong. And when you hear someone's testimony, someone that actually has survived through the trauma of being embarrassed in somebody's class, or very intelligent, but is writing down that they're dumb, you know, stuff like that. Yes. When you hear those things, it touches a place in you that goes, okay, then I am not unfixable, whatever this is. And ADHD might not be your thing that you have, but it can at least show you, okay, there are some things that I can learn to not just function, but to be able to accept myself.
Yeah. I completely agree. Like, obviously, you know, there is a small part of people who maybe, you know, do abuse TikTok and do, you know, self-diagnose incorrectly. Sure, like people, you know, misdiagnose themselves when they look on WebMD and they think they have cancer. I do that all the time. I don't do it out of malice. I do it out of anxiety and paranoia. If I haven't, you know, had a good, you know, I haven't had a good bowel movement, TMI, I'm like, I have, you know, colon cancer, and we do that, you know. I always do that, and it's a terrible behavior, but most people who get the ADHD diagnosis, they don't like self-diagnose. They look at maybe a TikTok or they listen to a podcast like this and they go, yep, I might have this. And then they'll research like you did, and then hopefully they can go and get an official diagnosis, and that's what, you know, spurred them on. That's not everyone's getting ADHD. That's just everyone becoming more aware. You know?
More aware. And a lot of women that are getting diagnosed later on in life is because their children have gotten diagnosed and they hear what it is and they're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yes.
This is stuff that I haven't been telling people that I struggle with. And then they find out that they've had it all along, but they've just been suffering in silence because they are wives and mothers and employees or employers, and they do this and they're struggling through it, and they're struggling with their self-esteem, and they feel they know something is
up
wrong in a way that is off, in a way that they're not learning or absorbing things in a way that is ideal for them, you know.
Absolutely.
To force themselves to learn or to adjust to a very typical way that just does not work for them. So they've just been white knuckling it through life, like just trying
neglecting
to, you know,
their needs. No, it's totally true. Like my dad is ADHD. He gave it to me. Thanks, Dad. And I remember when like my mum, because my mum always thought I was ADHD. I'd seen a child psychologist and they were like, yeah, she could be, but she's fine. She's just like super bright and just very energetic. Like she'll be fine. And my mum's like, nah, like she's deaf's ADHD. And my mum would always say it to my dad, and then my dad would always respond with, but I was like that as a kid. Like I did the same. And once I got diagnosed, it wasn't until like up until I think like last year or 2 years ago, he was like, hang on, I was the same as you. That means something. And then he was also like struggling with going down rabbit holes and like procrastinating, which also led to him. But yeah, it was like the fact that we had the same, not the same childhood, but the same experiences in school. Very smart, not bad children, had good parents, were great, well behaved at home, but at school and in other settings just could not focus and just couldn't. And it's a very common thing, parents like seeing themselves in their children and getting diagnosed, which would be like so intense.
Did
it's like
he get diagnosed officially?
Yeah, by my psychiatrist. She gives me my meds.
Wow.
Yeah, so we see the same psych.
Man, because I've talked to other people that have dealt with just different things, and for the generation above them, a lot of the times I've been like this a long time, or you just deal with it, kind of thing, or just, and it's like I always tell people, if there are 3 things that I say the most in life, this might be number 1. And it's, I do not have enough college credits to diagnose anybody with anything.
No.
I don't. No. However,
big however,
if you are struggling, as you say, because what I heard you say is this, you may want to look into some methods and things, some help to help you function with that. I'm not saying you have it.
Yes.
But you've listed almost everything that I take medication for. Now you do with that what you will, because I'm not diagnosed.
None of my business.
With nothing. However, do what you need for you to get along, whatever that is.
Yes, I am the same. Well, it's an ADHD radar. I am the same. It's like, obviously, don't diagnose people. And even my parents, they're teachers. They're not psychologists, but they are teachers. And therefore, they recognize patterns. It's very hard, exactly. They see patterns, exactly. And they can see when a student is ADHD. And it's very hard because you can't like ring up the parents and say, I think your kid's ADHD. There's like a really long procedure to like sort of notify, because some parents are in utter denial. Like my mum will have a student which she will notice is displaying ADHD traits, and it worries her as a teacher because she's like, this kid could be getting so much help if they just knew that they were ADHD. And then the parents will finally like get out of the denial and fear and get them diagnosed, and they'll, email my mum being like, we just don't know how she could have been ADHD or even like autistic. And then my mum will meet the parent teacher interview and she'll meet the dad and she'll be like, how did you not know that she was like, like I even have people in my life who on another end, like they have an autistic, sibling, and they're like, and like no one in the family has it. And then I meet their mum or their dad and I'm like, do you know your dad's autistic?
Wow.
Like, can you see that? And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, like that, your dad's autistic. That's why your sibling is as well. Your, ADHD, like I can see it. And obviously I would never like, obviously go get diagnosed and everything, but we do have a radar. It's like how gay people have a gaydar. Yeah. We have an ADHD radar. And I have a pretty okay gaydar as a straightie. I'm actually pretty good with that, but I don't wield that around. I don't go up to people saying, hey, I think you might be gay. Just letting you know if you ever want to. But yeah, we do have it. I think because you can relate to them. Like it's not even a radar. You can just kind of relate to people who are kind of going through the same thing.
Queerness. I think there's a certain, I don't want to say a parallel because I don't believe that our struggles are parallel at all. That is very different.
Very, so very different. They're on a spectrum.
Spectrum.
They share a spectrum in a way.
But I think queerness, as far as you do things in a different way that's not typical. You understand what I'm saying? Because queerness is not just, from my understanding and from having a good number of queer friends, that it's not just I'm attracted to the same sex. It's not just that. For some, for many, there is a way of moving through life and doing things and creating things in certain ways that I know from speaking to them that they attribute to their queerness. And so
it's alternative.
Exactly. So I think it is similar for people with ADHD or people that are neurodivergent in some way, where it's like, this also does affect that. I work with a number of artists. I've always been around musicians throughout my entire life. And
who are
the
all
more
ADHD and queer. They are.
Man, like
they are.
I always say, I'm like, it's not that I think every creative person has ADHD.
No.
But there's a spectrum. They're starting at 0.5. They might not be at 100, but they are not at 0. Like they are, they're somewhere. And I think that's been one of the beautiful things about being so vocal about it, is that I've been able to talk to different people, and people have been, I can't tell you how many DMs I've gotten throughout these 9 years. People that have said, because of you, I went and got tested. Because of you, I started asking questions. And people that I would have not known.
I love it when people do that. It's like,
oh my God, it blesses me so much because one of the things that led to my diagnosis is that I was suicidal. And so it's something I'm not ashamed to talk about, but I always want to be careful when I bring it up. But so I don't know if I needed to put a trigger or anything like that.
I'll put a trigger warning at the start. That's all good.
I had this feeling at my worst, lowest point before I got diagnosed, that I was letting everybody down. No one was telling me this. Nobody said it, but it was that fear of success that I had.
That voice.
And so that voice. And I'm like, I am letting everybody down. They are going to know. My secret is going to be told. And I had a really dark, low point where I had to say, if you decide to live, you're going to have to work to get healthy every day. You just can't exist. And so I made a choice. And part of that choice is when I was living in Nashville, and I was like, I need to get to a healthy place. Where is the healthiest place that I can go? And so I went back home. Do you know how humbling it is at the age of like 39, after you've had a somewhat, as you feel, successful life in Nashville, to drive your car all the way back to New Jersey and then move, go upstairs to your bedroom that still has your Cabbage Patch Kids in it? That is humbling.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad, who was very neurotypical, had a bouquet of flowers for me on my nightstand when I went to my room. And I remember thinking, I feel like I'm in the hospital. Like, that's really how I felt, like I was in the hospital. And my dad—
Get well soon flowers.
Yeah, get well soon flowers.
Yeah.
He didn't have them as get well soon, but that's how I saw, because that's how I felt. I felt like I'm here to get well.
I'm in the hospital,
I'm in the hospital. I'm in rehab somehow and undergoing treatment. And one of the things I was so blessed with during the time that I was able to spend with my dad, because I'm very fortunate that I did take the time to move home, because that gave me 6 years. I mean, not 6 years. If I was 41, my dad died 6 years ago. So it gave me 3 years with my dad that I wouldn't have had. Because and I say this, I feel like I'm going all over the place, but I'm going to tie it all together.
No, you're not.
Had I want to tell anybody this, life is still going to go on whether you decide to get help, to seek treatment, or to bet on yourself to get better or not. Life is not going to stop because you feel like you can't get it together. Had I not decided to get healthy, whatever that looked like, let's say because it was just God's will for my dad to die when he died, if I did not have the tools to deal with ADHD and depression and anxiety, I was a huge daddy's girl. That is my guy. My mom is okay being the number 2 parent because she knows that was my guy. If my dad would have died and I'd have been in Nashville, we would not be having this conversation, because I would be away. You know what I mean? Like I would not be well. And so you have to get well. You have to get the tools that you need in order to manage ADHD, manage anxiety, manage depression. Because you don't know what's going to come. And I'm so grateful that I did that, because when the panic attacks did come after my dad died, when certain things, because grief, the way that grief hits you. Now dealing with perimenopause at 50, that's another thing too, because when you go through perimenopause, you're now dealing with a deficit in hormones and biochemicals that you already have a deficit. I was telling somebody today, I was like, it's like when, let's say that you like have a little bit in your bank account and then Apple hits you with like the $3.99 charge you forgot about.
Deadly, like that is
dealing with perimenopause. It's like,
it is egregious. It's egregious.
I'm already at a deficit. I already am not producing enough. I'm already taking all these daggone supplements. I'm already doing this.
Yeah.
And now you mean to tell me that I got to do this and this and this? Because now that I've just learned myself and unlearned some things at 41, perimenopause hits me at 45. So now
it's like one thing after another. It's like we have everything. When people are like, you ADHDs, you just have everything. It's like, yeah, we do. We actually have everything. I actually have everything. I do. I have everything. I have dyscalculia, auditory processing issues, something with hypermobility. I have everything. I have poor eyesight, which is impacted. Like, we actually do have everything. Imagine how we feel. We are tired.
Poor gut health.
You know? Yes. And it's cool. And also then because my dad's also, he's Haitian, so we have, the African descent. I have all of that. I've got, so you are at risk of having, low ferritin. You are more at risk of having this. It's like, so thank you, Dad. I've inherited everything. So from the ADHD to all the other issues that come with it. And, just like being, half black. Like I have everything. I have it all. I have everything. Yep, we do. And imagine how tired we are, guys.
And imagine how tired. Imagine.
Exhausted. I don't want this. Yep.
Exhausted for myself, with myself. Yeah.
With myself. And all we need then, and then people are like, and then they're also queer. It's like, and then there's those queer ADHDs, because I've see some queer ADHD creators and people will comment and be like, and they're also queer. They've got to have that as well. She's got to be that. It's like, yes, they do. We do. We have it all. Yeah, we do. It's everything. Yep.
It's everything. And you're managing it all the time.
Always.
All the time, every day. I was talking to my therapist yesterday, and I said, it's hard, but also in a way helpful when there's a symptom or something that floats up, because I do have a checklist of, well, what could it be? Could it be
cancer?
Or let's look at the list of things that I am dealing with. Could it be perimenopause? Am I close to my period? Is it ADHD? Am I having a depressive episode? Could this be anxiety? Is it just being Black in America? Is it being a woman? Is it a spiritual attack of some sort? Is it it's all these things? But there is a blessing in the awareness of it.
Yes.
And so when I see people that I feel don't have an awareness, there is empathy there. And the reason why I'm so vocal, especially when it comes down to me talking about wanting to end my life, is because I'm like, if I'm an extroverted extrovert. I smile all the time, even under everything that I was going through. So I would have been one of those people, had they found me somewhere, no one would have known why.
Yeah.
No one would have known.
So happy.
She lit up a, there's always some people that don't ever say I light up a room.
I don't light up a room. Yeah. I
say that to people. I'll say
it. Literally, like I always say to my mum and dad, and my mum's like, can we not talk about what I would say if you died? I'm like, fair enough. And then my dad goes, I'm going to be really honest. He'll be like, she was a pain in the ass. She was annoying. I loved her. She was like moody. She was pretty abrasive, and she just wouldn't shut the fuck up. Like, I'm going to say that, like, yeah, she lit up a room. Or like when, Robin Williams died, everyone's like, but he was so funny. Yeah. Like, but he made us laugh. Like, but he couldn't make himself laugh. Like, shut up. Like, of course. Shut up. Of course, people who have mental health issues don't look. I mean, some people have more visible manifestations of mental illness, but most people don't look sad. They don't look anxious. Like, people have panic attacks looking like this. And they look fine, you know? It's crazy. People say really silly things.
Through it.
I've
had friends that were, this is another reason why I think people need to talk about it, because I've had other friends find out that there have been times where they've been suicidal. And so it's the club that nobody wants to be in, you know? Yeah. But we're glad that we're in and not out. You know what I mean? We're not like worse. Yes. But I remember when Robin Williams died, it was the first time, because it was after I had come back home. And it was the first time that I heard about somebody's suicide and going, they checked out. And I get it. And I hate that. I hate that so much. But from what I understand, what he was dealing with mentally, and there was another thing that I heard someone talk about because of his drug use, thing that happened to his brain that he struggled with. Yeah. I just remember going, he ain't make it. And not in a callous way, but like in a very understandable, like in a way that I didn't understand before. It was just like one of us, somebody didn't make it that was trying.
Someone didn't make it. No, it's so true. I have someone in my family who's dealt with depression and anxiety, and when I was like, but like, that's so bad, like he killed him, you know, they were saying, well, with my experience, they said, I completely like get it. And she's like, he, without, you know, sounding callous, like he couldn't hack it. And she's like, it was almost like it was not that he's better, but
he checked out.
Like, he checked out, and it was almost I hate saying, like, you know, they were like, I hate saying it, but it was almost like fate, which is terrible, because that shouldn't be anybody's fate. That shouldn't be anyone's fate. But they were like, it checks out. Like, he just couldn't hack it. He didn't give up. He just could not continue.
It's hard being a person.
He could not continue.
There was something I've read. I wish I knew the author, but he wrote this thing about the grief, the wound of existence. Just the wound of existence.
Existing, yeah.
And one of the last conversations, deep conversations I had with my dad, and I'll never forget, and I was so grateful for, was he came in my room and he was asking me why I was down. It was after Chris Cornell died of suicide. And Chris Cornell of Soundgarden, lead singer of Soundgarden. And this was before, what's his face died of? Yeah, it was just a 1, 2, 3. But I remember talking to him, and I said, what upset me so much was that his anxiety medicine, I was on the same anxiety medicine at a much lower dose, which let me know that he was trying. He was trying. And the thing is, my dad was such a mind over matter kind of person. It wasn't until he heard me talk about depression and ADHD, and then he saw another testimony of a woman that was an actress who's very gregarious. You know, he was like, oh my God, that's my baby girl. That's my daughter. Like, now I understand why she felt this way. And like, cause he didn't get it. He's like, so many friends. You did, like, I don't get it. Yeah. But I remember my dad did the sweetest thing. He was standing up listening to me. He was leaning up against my dresser. And then in the middle of the conversation, he laid down on the bed like this, and he looked at me and just listened to what I said. And so many people don't have that. So many people just like, their parents don't get it and they don't want to get it. But my dad really wanted to get it. And he got it. You know, he really wanted to understand.
That's the best thing. That is the best thing.
It's the best. And it goes back to what you were saying, like, how do your family and your friends react? I had already set myself up that if nobody believed me, it did not make a difference, because I had made the promise to myself to get healthy. So I didn't need anybody to me. Yes. I knew what I did.
It's so good when they listen.
But when you do, and they listen and they believe you. My best friend asked me questions. She asked me something the other day about time blindness, you know, and stuff. When your friends believe you and they support you, it means the world. That's really the
best thing. And it's actually a compliment when people say, yeah, I could tell that you were not necessarily, I could tell you were depressed, but like, oh yeah, I could tell you were ADHD. Like, we always knew it. I'm like, that's so good. Like, thank you. You should have told me when you knew. But isn't that a nice thing? Because it annoys me when people go, what? But you're so smart. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. Or when, you tell someone like, you have mental health issues. Oh, but you're so happy. Like, but like, listen to me. I'm trying to tell you, like, don't say what you think you should say. Because I do think sometimes people who say those things, they're not trying to be mean. It's just clunky. They do genuinely mean it from a kind place. Like, even with grief, when people say really awkward things to others, they say really awkward things. Like, I had a friend in school who whose mother passed away when she was very young, and the things that people would say to her was like, well, like, she's in a better place now. And it's like, she died suddenly. Like, she was a young woman. No, that is not, she's not in a better place now. But people genuinely say it to, like, be kind, but it's just so awkward and clunky.
And being quiet is also okay. I mean, not acknowledging it, but someone said to my mom, I'll never forget.
What did they say?
Someone said to my mom, I heard about, my dad's name is Glenn. I heard about Glenn. I'm so sorry. My dad had a heart attack. And, I already went, that's how I want to go. I want to go just fast. Just that's how I want to go. Just real quick.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that to someone. I don't know.
And this is also, you have like older people that don't know how to be
social cues.
Social cues that just don't know, and they're older, so they're already thinking about, I guess, their own, mortality. But to say that out loud, like, I remember after my dad passed away, and we're all very active. We're all active in church, but my parents are very active in church. Yeah. My mom actually works at her church. My dad served at the church. So I remember we go to 2 different churches now, and I remember for the first couple weeks, when my mom started going back to church, I would go with her because, for one, they always went together. 2, I wanted to run interference for her because I would see people coming towards her with the face, and I'd be like, we're not doing that today.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, I understand the people that miss my dad. I get that.
Yes.
So that I have some
of
people.
Course.
And the reason why I bring that up is, like, when you deal with mental health issues, it opens your eyes to what could potentially be the mental state for somebody else that they're not experiencing.
Makes you more empathetic.
Way more. So you're like, aware. I don't know what this person's world is like right now. I will never understand the depth of the grief that my mom has dealt with. Never. And she doesn't express herself in the same way that I do too. And I know it already breaks my heart to think about it. So I know it would totally break my heart if I knew for real. But because of the stuff that I dealt with in silence, it does make me more aware of certain times of the year. You know what I mean? Yes. Certain things that come up.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know how you have to prepare your own self for certain things. Because of what
you want to protect other people, like if you know, hey, you know that. And obviously I haven't dealt with parental loss, but I've had dear friends who have, and obviously I don't know what it's like.